Greetings, Dragonball fans, and welcome to the second part of my What If series, where Vegeta spared Nappa, though not for any altruistic reasons. In the last part, we saw Nappa face his impending mortality at the hands of his Prince Vegeta, not once, but twice. While initially spared by Vegeta, Nappa has seen that he is nothing but a tool, a means to the Saiyan Prince's own ends. Reaching Namek well ahead of his former comrade and boss, Nappa has decided to try an alternate path. The lowly Kakarot had fought for others, and that had led to a truly awesome power for such a low-class Saiyan. So, setting his sights on reaching that power for himself, Nappa has thrown himself into helping the few remaining Namekians survive their encounter with the galactic Tyrant. After a week of training, learning how to meditate, and discussing how the galactic Tyrant operates, Nappa has come to rather like these green people. During one such meditation session with Guru and Nail, Nappa suddenly looks up. He knows that energy. It's so familiar. But who? Nail, having become familiar with how Nappa's energy feels, looks up and says that another Saiyan is about to arrive. While Nappa is a bit nervous, Nail and one of the other warriors, who'd been frequenting the morning training sessions, agree to go with him to meet this Saiyan. Ooh, maybe it's that Goku guy. So they fly off, keeping low. A day later, they land by a gap in some rocks. "Hello?" Nappa calls out after a pause. "I can sense you in there." He can't help but smile when he sees the small, bald man from Earth stepping out, cautiously, poised to attack. "Whoa now, little man. No need for that," Nappa says, stepping back, patting the air. "Where's Kakarot?" Krillin looks from Nappa to the two not-quite-Piccolos as Gohan steps out and Nail steps forward. Some introductions and minor exposition later, the gang is up to speed. Even Bulma has ventured out, when the casual tone of the voices got the better of her curiosity. They are not at all sure about Nappa, but his demeanor is so different, so relaxed, almost friendly? Wait, where's Vegeta? We had a difference of opinion," Nappa says, smiling. Gohan and Krillin remain skeptical of the big brute, but this is not the Nappa they met briefly back on Earth. His clothes and the way he carries himself is all very different. And he seems so at ease with these two Namekians. They can also sense no malintent from the man. "Time to go," Nappa says, glancing over his shoulder, as Gohan and Krillin both sense a different kind of power descending. Sensing some reluctance from Nappa, Nail tells the two Earthlings to go with Sopra, the other warrior, to meet Guru. As Bulma ducks back into the gap to mind their ship, Nappa and Nail head off to that other, darker power. They arrive at the edge of the crater to see a very battered and angry-looking Vegeta clamber out. He freezes for a second when he sees Nappa staring down at him. Gone is his traditional Saiyan armor. What is he wearing? A towel? "Nappa!" Vegeta yells at him. "What are you doing here?" Nappa stares down at his former boss, the knot in his stomach easing as he mulls over his sense of the prince. He casually says hello and introduces his, this is his friend, Nail. Climbing up the crater towards them, Vegeta doesn't care and demands that Nappa help him search for the Dragon Balls. He is not at all pleased when Nappa doesn't move. He is even less pleased to hear that the balls are all hidden away. "You came all this way for nothing, Prince, was it?" Nail says, smiling almost viciously. Vegeta has had enough of this. He flies in to strike the big green man, but is caught by Nappa. He's looking a bit pleased with himself. Vegeta yanks away and demands that Nappa explain himself. Why isn't this planet a burned-out cinder? Where's his Saiyan pride? "Blown away, Vegeta," Nappa deadpans, staring intently at him. "In a glorious mushroom cloud." He feels Vegeta's anger shift, sees it play out across his face in slow motion. Oh yes, he had meant for Nappa to die. He tries to be angry, but feels only sadness. This was, for a very long time, the closest thing he had to a friend in the whole universe. The only fellow Saiyan that was worth a damn. Though now there's that calls himself Goku now. What a silly name for a Saiyan. He felt the intent before he was even aware of the fist coming at him. The power behind it, though? Vegeta's fist slams into the side of Nappa's face and stops. "What?" Vegeta trails off as Nappa turns back slightly to look at him. "Oh, I've been busy, Vegeta." Nappa brings his hand down hard, catching the prince off guard. Vegeta's now limp body crumples into Nappa's other, waiting arm. He looks over at the smiling Nail, and they fly off with Vegeta's body towards yet another power heading in their direction. They are met mid-air by Dodoria, who is amused to see the unconscious Vegeta draped unceremoniously over Nappa's shoulder. "Where's Qui, you ask? Oh, he's dead. Nuclear fire is nothing to laugh at. Vegeta is only alive because he was preparing a pod when the first explosion went off. His launch was then further delayed as the facility proceeded to crumble around him." Nappa is again surprised to compare his own strength to Dodoria's. He knows how strong the blob should be, but it's just so underwhelming now. The training and subsequent Zenkais with Nail and the others has done so much. Dodoria, on the other hand, is delighted to see that Nappa's power has plummeted. Barely 500? For a second there, I thought you were that, what was his name, Razit? Settling to the ground, Nappa deposits the lump and stretches a bit. He is slightly disappointed to feel a distinct lack of excitement at facing the pink man. Where's the thrill of grinding his victims under his boot? As they clash, Dodoria quickly realizes that the scouter is obviously broken. This weakling of a Saiyan is effortlessly matching him. Vegeta wakes up and looks over at the dueling pair. He too knows just how strong Dodoria is. How is Nappa matching that beast so well? Wait, he remembers. He'd knocked him out with one hit. Vegeta spots the discarded scouter and crawls over to pick it up as Nail watches him coldly. Dodoria is right about where he's supposed to be, but Nappa? His power's all over the place. 490, 12,000, back to 1800, then back up again and down again, each time going higher. He's learned their secret, Kakarot's hidden power, that Kaio thing. He watches as Nappa rounds on Dodoria, and the scouter barks angrily as a flash blinds him for a moment. When his vision clears, he looks up to see Nappa standing over him, holding his hand out. "Ah, you're awake, Vegeta. Let's go." Batting the hand away, Vegeta picks himself up. He demands to know how Nappa got this strong this quickly. Even at a normal Saiyan rate, the healing boost that Vegeta got was nothing like what Nappa has received. Nappa smiles down at him and then points at the scouter. "We don't do those anymore, Vegeta," he says, and the scouter cracks and explodes on the prince's ear. Nappa looks on as Vegeta collects himself. They stand there for a moment, then Nappa sighs and calmly flies off, with Nail following. After a moment, clenching and unclenching his fists, Vegeta slumps slightly in resignation and flies off after his once subservient minion. What happened to the man? Ever since they left Earth, he's been different. And how did he survive the diversion? When they are on the final approach to Guru's tower, Nappa stops short. Vegeta comes round to see the stricken look on the man's face. Then he feels something hot? Something coming from the tower ahead of them. Nappa then smiles as he works out what he is sensing. Guru and those two humans are in there with... is that Dende? He flies off, eager to meet the little Namekian again. When they land, Soper steps out and nods to Nappa, then, spotting Vegeta, he asks why he brought that here. Nappa says that he feels kind of responsible for him. Then, in a blow bigger to Vegeta's ego than the prince would ever actually admit, Nappa goes on to say that he'll keep him in line. Nail steps towards the door and says that Guru wants to meet you, my friend. He grabs Vegeta's shoulder and shoves him forward as well. Inside, Nappa is amazed to feel the barely suppressed power boiling off of the two Earthlings. Guru says that Nappa will help them undo some of the damage he's done. He should help them gather the balls and wish back those that had died on Earth at Nappa's hand. He knew about the Dragonball's wish-granting, but he hadn't even considered that possibility. "But first, Nappa, I have a gift for you," Guru says, beckoning the big man forward. Nappa kneels next to Guru again, and waits as the giant Namekian reaches out and touches his head. A gift indeed. Gohan and Krillin are both aghast when they realize that Guru is about to do for this monster what he had just done for them. As they move forward in protest, Nail puts a hand on their shoulders. He explains that this man has been reborn in a way. He knows what he was and what he's done, but he's not wholly that man anymore. "He is becoming my friend," Nail says, firmly. Their senses are overwhelmed by the eruption of power pouring from the big Saiyan. Vegeta is, of course, dumbstruck. He can feel it, pulsing, resonating throughout the room. Nappa turns to the two Earthlings and tells them that the Scouters will find them if they're not careful. Krillin and Gohan nod grimly and start pushing their power further down, as hard as they can. "What about me?" Vegeta demands. Nappa glances skeptically at him, and then to Guru. "Your hate won't allow it, Prince Vegeta," Guru says. "Even if you wanted it, such an angry soul cannot be unlocked in this way." They head outside, and Vegeta watches with disgust as Nappa takes Nail's arm. They say their farewells and fly off toward the first village, with Dende and Sopra in tow. They need to be quick, as once the balls are out in the open again, Frieza and his men will start to converge on them. Vegeta trails behind slightly, clenching his fists over and over again, desperately pushing down his pride. Just get through this. Play nice for now, and he can steal that wish out from under them. Nappa looks back at him for a moment as they fly, an amused look on his face. Does he know? How could he know? The collection goes fairly well at first. They have Guru's ball, and by the time they reach Mori and Dende's village's ball, they have 3 more of them. They then run into Zarbon, scouring another abandoned village. Zarbon is thrilled to see that they have all done the work for him. Frieza will be so pleased to see that not only will he have all but one of the remaining balls, but also the corpses of those traitorous Saiyan scum. Nappa asks Vegeta if he wants a crack at Zarbon, for old time's sake, so without a word, Vegeta pushes past and faces off against the pretty boy. He is eager to show that he is still the most powerful Saiyan to exist. This goes just as in canon. Vegeta edges over Zarbon, right up to him transforming. With Vegeta then firmly embedded in the ground, Nappa looks to Gohan and Krillin, then, seeing their reluctance, he steps forward. This does not go well for the bulked-up Frieza Enforcer. With his rising potential unlocked, combined with his recent training with Nail and co., Nappa practically one-shots Zarbon, embedding him in the ground right next to the now extricated Vegeta, who Dende is visibly struggling to heal. Nappa raises his hand to blast Zarbon away, then looks at that hand in mild confusion before lowering it again. The bloodlust is missing. The thrilling burst of pleasure he remembers so clearly from when he would blast a defenseless enemy up close. Now he feels nothing but the lingering joy from the fight itself. Zarbon was no match for him, so why even bother? His thoughts are cut short as Vegeta blasts the unconscious Zarbon point blank. "There," the prince says mockingly. "That's how a Saiyan deals with an enemy." They fly off towards the last ball that's not in Frieza's possession. They find it easily enough, with Dende and Sopra acting as glorified radios with the other Namekians. But instead of collecting it, they deposit the other 4 balls deep in the ravine as well. As they prepare to leave, Nappa catches Sopra's eye and nods back towards Vegeta. The prince is staring intently at the rocks where the balls are hidden. Sopra smiles and announces that he needs to go visit a nearby village, so he'll join them again soon. After the warrior leaves, Nappa leads the way, closer, but not directly to, the remaining balls. It will take a while for them to get there, and they need to come up with a plan first. Nappa may be stronger, but the thought of facing Frieza still sends a chill up his spine. And with that, we will bring part 2 of this What If to a close. Vegeta is stewing in his mortally wounded pride. First Kakarot bests him, and now his minion Nappa is treating him like a child. But he'll bide his time until he can steal that wish. Nappa, meanwhile, is struggling to come up with a good plan. This kind of thing was never really his strong suit. Smash and grab was much more his style. Gohan and Krillin, meanwhile, are just kind of along for the ride. Nappa is clearly trying to help, and these Namekians are friendly enough. What happened to change the Big Saiyan so much? More importantly, when will Goku arrive? Find out next time on Dragonball, What If Vegeta Spared Nappa?